This is Matt for Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store. I feel like it's been a while, but welcome back, Spencer Fearon. I think you've been on with Lewis a couple of weeks ago, but it's been a while since we've had a catch up. How's things?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I'm all right.
Good stuff, bro. Good stuff. Look, want to just get your initial reaction to the weekend. Big fight on Saturday. Interesting main event. Not a lot of people predicted it, but Chris Eubank Jr. flipped the first fight on its head, came back out and put on a dominant performance against Liam Smith. Just give me your sort of initial takeaway from that.
Um, I thought what we saw was actually good. I think that was a 9 out of 10. I never like to give 10 out of 10 performances, uh, and I'm not going to take nothing away from how he boxed. I thought he boxed really well. I thought it takes a lot, and speaking from experience, just to get knocked down in sparring, you'd be very, very hesitant to get back into spar, right? Or to get stopped in sparring, you'd be hesitant to go back. To get stopped in a fight, you'd be hesitant to get back in a spar, let alone go back into the ring with the same man that's done that to you. So there has to be sublime self-confidence within Chris Eubank Jr. to have done that. And I think all the credit in the world should be given to him, and we have to props him for how he performed. And yeah, we got a massive props to him. I got to congratulate him for how he boxed.
When we've looked at Chris Eubank Jr. in the past, I always feel that we see someone who's a bit conflicted in terms of he gets lost in the style and how he fights. We see him, Roy Jones, he moves on the back foot. Earlier on in his career, he's all like blood and thunder kind of thing. And I feel like this is probably the first time we've seen him put all his attributes maybe together that he's got, but do everything at the right times, the right moment. He was smothering Liam's work when Liam did start having any success. Um, could you see the changes in Chris? And do you think this is maybe a career best performance?
I would have to agree with you, Matt. It was a career best performance simply because of what he was coming back from, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's been well documented of of his brother passing. It's been well documented between like the little rift between him and his father. If anybody has seen like what was it, Gary Neville's interview with Chris Eubank Jr.,
Very good.
absolutely fantastic. When I mean like on something that I would suggest that anyone listen to, that was really, he came across so well, right? And what I've also noticed with Chris Eubank Jr. is there's been a kind of general consensus change on him, where people didn't like him because he's a kid that he didn't really speak. You know what I mean? And he'd go along like he's got this braggadocio, like uh, uh, imperial strut, and people say, well, you don't deserve to be behaving like that. You don't deserve, you ain't done nothing to behave like that, right? And I think now he's actually finding himself, and I think it's a beautiful thing. And it's a really, really nice thing to see somebody prove everyone wrong, even myself. I thought Liam Smith was going to do him because I was hearing stories of him sparring out in America, not looking particularly well, right? And like him kind of turning up and being nonchalant in the training. But in those 4 weeks that he done with Bomac, I believe that it's a accumulation of everything that he's done in the past. And he's actually, from him being with Ronnie Davis, from him being with Adam Booth, from him being with Mike McCallum, from him being with Roy Jones, a accumulation of all of them, we put it all together. And I think Bomac was the person to bring all of that out of him. And also I've got a big up Red who works with Bomac. He's my guy. He's a really, really nice guy, And I'm really happy for it. Right. And I'm not gonna get confused over people saying, oh well, Liam Smith was injured. Liam Smith had like 3 stone in weight to take off. That's not Chris Eubank Jr.'s fault. I'm sorry, right? Because if Chris Eubank Jr. had 3 stone to take off, and he's actually the physically bigger man, if Chris Eubank Jr. said that he had ankle injuries and all the rest of it, people wouldn't care. And I'm saying like the only thing of an excuse that Chris Eubank Jr. used was the fact that you were lucky and you caught me with a legal blow. But he didn't make no excuses about it. He took his lumps. And you have to commend the bravery of someone to go back into the lion's den or into a lion of fire. You know? I'm telling you, had to have been traumatic. But he overcome that trauma and put in a performance like that. Come on, all the credit in the world because Liam Smith I don't care if Liam Smith had 50 stones to take off. Liam Smith ain't no joke. He's serious. Hence why I tipped him to win. Because I said, listen, he is technically superior to Chris Eubank Jr. Because all the time I was watching Chris Eubank Jr., I found him trying to find himself. But what we saw on Saturday night was a young man, well, 33, but we found a young man that actually found himself. And massive props to him. And like I said, I had to send a massive apology to his brother, Nathaniel Wilson, right? And his business partner in my guy Napa, right? I have to say, right, you know what? Because we were talking, I said, hey, your brother's going to get beat up, you know? I'm not. So fair play, man. Fair play. And they took it because they know I'm real like that, man. So it's all love.
Yeah, I was going to say credit where it's due to, because coming back from a defeat like that and walking back into the Lions Den again, because you've got to remember, he wasn't taking this fight in a place of where people were all, you know, come on, Chris, you can do it. It was a case of you coming back to that same atmosphere, that same hostility. And, you know, he always has that presence when he walks out. But from the moment he got in the ring, his hands were on his ears if to say, look, I'm about to prove a point. And he did that. So it does take a lot of courage. What do you make of what's going to be next for him potentially? Obviously, Conor Benn was in attendance. He's talking about a fight. I think we're all still waiting to hear about what's still going to happen with Conor. He was alluding at a date in September, so I think he's able to box in America. But what do you make of that fight? Conor says he'll fight him at a higher weight.
Eddie Hearn said something that he's looking for to make that fight in December, right? The 2nd or the 9th of December. And I'm so looking. That's the only fight that I'm really interested in, to tell you the honest truth. And the reason being why I'm so, because of the lineage, and not only that, but the performance that Eubank Jr. put in the other day, and with all of the drama that has happened with Conor and all the rest of it, it's like people have supported Conor. I've openly supported him, but what's happened is because of everything and how Eubank Jr. has handled things, he's become like the fan favorite. Which is amazing because we never have seen that before. So, you know, that's the fight that I want to see. More than anything, I want to see that fight.
Does that fight, would it fill Wembley?
Yes. I'm confident of it filling Wembley. Right? I am confident of that fight filling Wembley. I don't know where they're going to have it. I don't know, but I'm confident of that fight filling Wembley.
Right, just quickly, Bomac. I mean, I think after I was speaking to Bomac after the fight, he was waxing lyrical about Chris's performance. Then we all wake up to news saying, you know, he's been detained for charges. I mean, it's not just a boxing world, but I mean, it's what's your sort of take on? I suppose we can't really comment too much on it, but it's quite a serious thing, isn't it? Really, when you think about it.
To be real, I just hope that they put it back to America and that America handles it, because right's right, wrong's wrong. If you understand the mindset of certain cultures, especially American culture, it's different. Black American culture, totally different. You know what I mean? Black guys in the UK like to talk about, but they haven't come from the lineage of. If you understand the lineage of where Black America has come from, especially like from 1619, if you want to get deep into it, all the way up to 1965, Black people in America weren't even allowed to vote. So where that one at? You know, so it can kind of harbor certain things, but right is right and wrong is wrong. And if you have done something that you have put yourself in the line of fire to be punished, then who am I or anybody else to go against? Not because you like somebody, you'd think, no, I really do like him. I just hope that he gets sent back to America and then it gets dealt with that way out in America instead of him staying in the UK and being dealt with here. Mm-hmm. But I'd like to know where your mind is at, or maybe, and I seriously, maybe it was just ignorance of him thinking like, you know, I could fly with this, you know, and not really thinking like, right, but I'm saying like, I don't know. And I like, hopefully it was grotesque negligence on his behalf.
Yeah.
But still, you'd have to be punished for it. But I say like you had that in order to say that you wanted to do someone something. I don't know the mindset, and I hope that he can just be sent back home because I know Bo Mac, he's cool. I don't know him nowhere near as I know Terence Crawford, but I do know Bo Mac. He's all right guy. I just hope that this gets sorted out and he gets sent home because you know what? In all of this drama, the person that I really feel sorry for is actually Terence Crawford because he's taken so long and he stayed low to Mac when people are begging him to leave Mac and he hasn't gone, and then something like this happens. The person I really feel sorry for is Terence Crawford. Because right now, Terence Crawford has just got his shine. It's just blown for him. And he's a really cool guy, Terence. You know what I mean? So my heart goes out for Terence Crawford. Of course, it goes out for Mac, but yeah, you can't be coming to. And also that we've got to say that what kind of massive negligence was that on behalf of the customs in
Yeah,
America for someone to be able to travel with something like that? Then I mean, come on.
I'm gonna say that's if it has come from. Well, anyway, let's move on because it's we.
I'm saying if that is the case, I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? Because like the real me, you know me, the real me, I think Paul Smith planted that gun in his bag. If that's the case, I'm joking. Joe, Paul's my guy, man. I'm joking.
But yeah, right. You touched on Terence Crawford there. Now, obviously, he's now getting his flowers finally, as pound for pound number one in the world. There's been a lot of talks over the past few weeks. Both him and Canelo have alluded to the fact that if they could come together at some catch weight kind of thing. Now there is weight classes for a reason, and we do obviously see sometimes fighters go up too much to fight. What do you make of a catchweight potentially between a Terence Crawford, a Canelo Alvarez? It would be huge, no matter what anyone thought. But is that something you'd like to see, or would you like to see him just go?
Like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm going to tell you why. If it was Canelo or 5 years ago, I wouldn't want to see it, right? Canelo was too sharp. It was like he had too much. Canelo's at the tail end of his career, right? Even though Terence Crawford is 35, he's up in age now, right? But he's a young 35 for the simple fact that he hasn't been in massive, big fights, right? He's been fighting consistently and beating very good fighters, but he hasn't been in big, big fights. I would like to see that fight because I think technically Terence Crawford is technically better than Canelo. So, and I remember 5 years ago, while I was at Sky, they asked for us to give our top five pound for pound. And I remember, and this is 5 years ago, mind you, Johnny Nelson saying Terence Crawford was number one. And I said, I rate him, but I don't because he ain't beating no one. And Johnny Nelson was adamant. And Johnny Nelson likes to talk a lot of shit, but we can't take away anything of him being Britain's second longest reigning world champion. Yep. But it's ringing true now that Johnny called that one absolutely right. He saw something that I saw in Spurs, but I didn't see like how it was to this level now. Yeah. I mean, he saw something.
I think it's
Terence Crawford beat Canelo. Right now, he beat him. I'm telling you now. Because Terence Crawford is actually a ridiculously strong guy, right? And
very deceptively strong. I think you don't get enough credit for how strong he actually is. Yeah, I really.
He's a throwback maroon. I'm telling you this now. Terence Crawford is viciously strong, right? And he's got technique to boot. Yeah, I'm saying the right time for that fight. I believe that you get certain guys who are gifted who can go out and do stuff like that, right? If you go back, I think it was March. Yeah, I believe it was March of 2003 when Roy Jones moved up to fight John Ruiz, and was like, "Nah, bro. You know what I mean? You should, yeah, like on a pound for pound this year, but he's just way too big for you." Not saying that Canelo is anything like a John Ruiz at all, because Canelo is technically really sound. But I'm saying that this time of his career, I think it'd be one of those kind of gambles. And I believe that Terence Crawford will come out victorious.
Let's see how that plays out. Quick thoughts. I think there's a press conference this week. Tyson Fury and Ngannou. One of these crossover things. I know you're a pure boxing man through and through. Just give me your thoughts on this sort of crossover thing. You've got the hardest punching man in the world. He's in the Guinness Book of Records. I know he's not a boxer, but him and Tyson are coming, going to go toe to toe in.
How did they create that? Sorry, man. How did they coagulate that he's the hardest punching man in the world.
I just know he's in the Guinness Book of Records for like
Hey, will they judge him? Will they judge him?
how they test that, but like it doesn't obviously doesn't mean that this person's got elite boxing skills.
Oh, I remember when Ivan Drago was punching that punch machine, right? But you know, I mean, I don't know how they work that one out, right? For the pounds of how they work that one out.
I don't have a clue, but he's in it. What do you make of this event anyway? What do you make of it?
It isn't an event, right? And what Tyson Fury is capitalizing on is the naivety of the world right now. Okay, something that was brought in years ago with Muhammad Ali. Was it 77 or 76? 76 when he fights Anoko who's a wrestler. It was actually a horrible thing to watch because it's actually boring. It went 12 rounds. All Anoko done was go on his back and kick Ali in his shins. It was a nice, pleasant thing to see. But then Floyd Mayweather's taking it to a new level, right? When he fought Conor McGregor. But in this, it's like people are saying, like, when you speak to people who are not hardcore boxing fans, but they're UFC fans, they're thinking if Ngannou could land one on him, it's it for Tyson Fury. I want you to realize that Tyson Fury got hit by Deontay Wilder and was floored and got up. So let's right. And when we're looking at technical ability, Tyson Fury's head and shoulders of a professional boxer that's head and shoulders of everybody else.
Yep.
Right? So what chances Ngannou got? He ain't got no chance. Let's just be real. He hasn't. But it would be fun if Ngannou knocked him out. It would be. I'm going to be real. It would be fun if he properly worked out Tyson. No, I don't want it to happen. But it would still be fun because you'll get financially rewarded greatly for this fight. I am a hardcore boxing fan, and you've heard Frank Warren on many occasions like it's a massive event. It's a massive event because you're thinking about the money that they're going to generate, right? And it is. I think it's Skill Challenge Entertainment. It's not the Skill Challenge Boxing segment that's doing it. So it's a different kind of. I would way prefer to see Tyson Fury versus Usyk, but we're not getting that fight. But it is what it is. I'm not going to be overly hyped over it, but I shall be watching it, man.
Yeah. What happens in Fury Usyk after what we saw from Usyk against Daniel Dubois? Paulie Malignaggi made a good point to me, actually. I don't think it was taken into consideration. He was saying, look, you can't really judge Usyk too much off it. He goes, that ring was absolutely soaked. He says, you know, you're judging a fighter fighting in a wet ring. It's very, very difficult. He says, not many people know how to fight under them circumstances, and he still did the job. So he couldn't take much from it. But how do you think a Tyson Fury and an Alexander Usyk goes right now as it stands?
Tyson Fury would blaps Usyk. I don't care what anyone's saying. All right? Because Usyk's very skilled, very smart, and all the rest of it. Tyson Fury does more than Usyk. And he's bigger than Usyk. Tyson Fury has more to his game than Usyk. Right? But you just got to get Tyson Fury when he's right. And Tyson Fury right, Usyk don't have a chance. I'm going to be real with you. I've watched Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. I'm not going to go over this low blow situation. I thought that it was not a low blow, but it is what it is. And when I'm hearing experienced people like Jack Reach and Joe Cortez, excellent referees, who are turning around saying it wasn't a low blow, who I want to go along with that. I don't think it was a low blow, but what it is what it is. But I'm telling you now that Tyson Fury would pepper him. Tyson Fury could go southpaw in this fight and pepper Usyk with the right jab and come down straight down the pike with a powerful left hand because he's very hittable, right? People go on like people say, "Oh, he's sneaky for certain guys," but I've seen him in lackluster fights as well. Don't get twisted. Usyk is bloody brilliant, right? Yeah. But the scenario of a good big un always beats a good little un. And that's what I'm going. Tyson Fury is not just a good big un, he's a bloody excellent big un. And that's how you got to look at it.
Agree. Well, Spencer, we've sort of covered everything I wanted to cover. Look, I appreciate you joining us at short notice. It's always a pleasure to have you on the channel.
Oh, thank you very
No problem. Hopefully we can catch up soon.
much.
Appreciate it.
Yes, man. You have a good day. Take care. God bless.